Welcome to the second episode of Pursuit of Excellence. We have with us today Mr. Rajesh, CEO of Mahindra South Africa since 2018. During his tenure, he has grown Mahindra brand rapidly in South Africa, notably as the fastest growing brands overall 2018 and 2019, as the fastest growing volume brand in 2020. Under him, Mahindra has grown not just in terms of demand volume, but also in terms of setting up assembly facilities and growing dealership footprints across South Africa and in the African neighborhood. Mr. Rajesh has made it possible for Mahindra not just to deal within his comfort zone of traditional autos, SUVs, and pickup trucks, but they have also brought into SA a range of farm equipment and power generation equipment too. We can go on and on about his achievements, but today we are here to know the man and to pick his brains about his experience of South Africa. Welcome, Mr. Gupta. How are you doing today?
Today is another day. In fact, every day brings in a lot of fresh energy and fresh reasoning to look into the market, to look into the prospects that we have in this country. So for me, this is equally exciting and challenging day, which I normally have.
Okay, so, sir, if you don't mind, this is going to be a fairly informal interview, and I hope you will be very sporting and give us all the fun answers that you have, at least towards the end. It's going to be like a rapid fire. Are you ready?
Absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, so let's start with the formal set of questions first. You've been in SA as the CEO of Mahindra since 2018 now. Could you tell us what made you accept this assignment in SA and how your experience has been thus far?
The assignments, when they come across, they always come with an opportunity for us. So in my approach towards the professional life, I've always pursued every single assignment that come across as a very, very important opportunity, because it brings us a fresh learning. It gives you an opportunity to come across new different, and as well as it actually puts you into a condition where you have to apply yourself in a very, very different situation and have to succeed in this process. So I think the learning curve, as we say, on the upside if you keep on putting yourself into a different situation. So this assignment was something on a similar line. I found this as a very, very interesting assignment. And of course, yes, since it was South Africa, which is one of the most interesting country across the world, I really, really appreciated when it came across.
That's thinking like a CEO, I think. That's a differentiating factor, I think. Huh?
Yeah.
When people come to SA, they almost always have some preconceived notions. Maybe it's thanks to television or maybe some well meaning friends and family. What were your expectations of SA before you came to SA, and how do you find SA now that you have come here already?
It's a very interesting question, actually. So South Africa is a country which I have visited twice prior to taking up this assignment. And when I visited for the first time, country itself, as we call it, as a rainbow country, it reflected in the similar manner. It's one of the most beautiful country which God has created in this world. Beside this, people over here are really, really achievers. I must say word achievers, because they have seen various kind of hardships and they still could, take it ahead to the way they are taking it ahead. So for me, this was something which was like looking South Africa as one area where I can take the vision of the company ahead, and the only vision that we had all throughout, and still we are carrying the vision, is about nurturing South Africa as second home for Mahindra outside India. And it remained very, very I must say emotional to me, because in childhood we have studied Mahatma Gandhi, and the way we have connected with Mahatma Gandhi all throughout our young childhood, I think this was something which remained as one of the critical reasons that there is a reason to go and prove something out in that part of the world. We do carry a very strong association with this country since last almost now 150 years. So it was kind of, a very emotional moment also. And that is where, I thought this should be an assignment which I will be seeing. But after coming here, I think it was not any different in terms of relating with it. It is very similar to India in many incidences. There are many things that remains very, very similar to India. And after 3 years, I must say, after 3 years, since I've completed 3 years in January 2021, I am still very excited because we haven't explored so much which is yet to be explored. There is much more to be done and a lot to be proven in this part of the world. It actually will also usher our path for the remaining part of Africa. So I'm still seeing that, how I really can't say how this 3 years has passed through. It was just yesterday that I came here and I have a long way to go.
That's totally amazing. That happens to all of us, actually. And what you just said, sir, it's so amazing. It's like you have us all salivating here as to what Mahindra has in store for South Africa in the future. So moving on, you've been living here with your family, which is like a really big deal. A lot of entrepreneurs, startups, they come here. They want to work here, but they're hesitant to bring in their family. So, what was your experience of bringing your family over? Did they love it here? And all the facilities, everything in general?
It's an interesting question. So, there are many misnomer and misconceptions which are about South Africa. People do speak that it's one of the unsafe countries, so as to call, but according to me, the safety factor is equal across the world. I think this is much safer as a country compared to many other countries in the world. So I have never ever thought about this aspect when we connected in terms of coming here. This is the first part. The second part is that this country also offers a wonderful work-life balance. And I think for a successful professional, a very balanced work-life balance is something which is needed. If you are staying alone, I think you're missing on a major part, and they also are missing on another part. And the third aspect to it is that the learning that you provide to your family, your kids, your children, of staying in a different world, connecting with different set of people, relating with the challenges of understanding them and expressing yourself in that situation is something which is priceless. So I think staying with family is the best option. Yeah, you have to be careful, as you have to be careful even in India or any other safest country, so as to God. So if you keep a balance on all the aspects, I think I would have really or seriously repented my decision if I have stayed alone here.
And do they like it here, sir? Does your family absolutely love it here?
Absolutely, they love this country. They love everything around what they see, their school, their schoolmates, their teachers, the house where we stay, or whatever. I think this, and the way we do tourism over here, so all the aspects which are integrated as it comes as a package, we do enjoy everything. And I'm sure when we will get repatriated, whenever it will happen in the future or in distant future, they are going to miss this country all their life.
Let's hope that it's very, very, very distant future, sir.
Yeah, I hope so.
So how would you rate South Africa as someone who has lived here with family and worked here too? As in the work-life balance that you just touched upon. Is it easy to settle here with family? Is it easy to work along with it?
Every new place where you go in or every place where you stay in, it takes a bit of a time to adjust with the requirement of that place. There are certain rules that you have to follow. There are certain aspects of social belongingness that you have to relate with. People are welcoming here. The structure towards retail is different over here. We do shop around in malls or basically various multiplexes or something, which is very different from other countries. You have to learn fast. You have to adapt to the situation, and once you adapt to the situation, I think it becomes a very much part of you every single day. So it is no different in that case. The only point that I would like to bring out is that the process of learning should be quick enough. Otherwise, you will keep on remembering what you used to enjoy and which you cannot enjoy over here and all those things. So I think we should see the positive side, and that makes the entire difference.
That's amazing. Let's get into the technical nitty-gritties for a bit now. Let's talk about your work at Mahindra. Since you were appointed in 2018, Mahindra has seen accolades come its way, like the fastest growing vehicle brand 2018 and 2019, fastest growing volume brand, even during the pandemic in 2020. So would you say that South Africans have wholeheartedly accepted the brand?
It's a very interesting question, and I would like to correct you a bit here. Actually, it is not me who brought this change. It is the hard work and persistence of many people who have worked in this company since very, very first day. We started this company in 2004, and post that, Mahindra has consistently kept on building a very strong back-end infrastructure to support our growth, as we call this, as an organic growth. The idea was to connect and build a brand in such a way that it starts becoming a household brand in this country with all the honesty and genuineness behind the brand. So at this point in time, I must say that the work that we have done in, say, right from 2004 right up to 2017 and 2018 when I joined, was the actual foundation which I have kind of leveraged and started building upon. So all my predecessors and all my colleagues who have put in their work has resulted in this situation. But the core and the crux was the vision. The vision was very simple from the board of Mahindra South Africa that please go and make this country as your second home outside India. And that is the vision that had brought in the difference. I think the other point that comes in the picture is that, when you are in a new country, what is important is that you have to be part of that country in every possible way. You have to be seen as a brand which speaks, thinks, and act as per the local requirement, which means you have to act local, think local, wherever you are. Not necessarily that you need to behave as a global brand all the time. You have to be the local brand, connecting with the local people with all honesty and genuineness. So I think that played in favor. And the way we have, created our approach towards the business, the way we have, created our associates, the way we have, invested in our partners in terms of franchisee owners, the way we have kind of, developed our ethics towards the business has resulted in a kind of an enhanced level of trust when they have to support the growth. So all what we are today is because of the cumulative and aggregated efforts by all of us in all these years.
Spoken like a true leader, sir. And I am so going to look at this recording and catch your quote and tweet about it. It is a very tweetable blurb.
Thank you very much.
Up next, coming to your core products, what many of us are curious about is this. How are Mahindra vehicles in South Africa similar to or different from Mahindra vehicles in India? Can you tell us a bit about your vehicles available here?
Of course, yes. So we have, if I speak about the automotive business first, the automotive business that we are doing here has two parts. We have, we call this world of buggies. In other part of the world, they are known as pickup. Buggies are known as pickup in the rest of the world. The world of buggies in a way is that, we have a range of, buggies starting from 170,000 Rand to going up to 450,000 Rand. We are catering every single need of customer in the market. In that portfolio, we have one as Mahindra Pickup, which is a global pickup, which we don't sell in domestic market. It's being only for the global markets. And we do sell it in many more countries, which is not similar to what you see in India. And in that portfolio, with the level we are operating now, we are number 3 player in single cabs. And overall, in the buggy as a segment, we are number 5 player. We have recently overtaken number 6 player who was earlier number 5 player. So that piece is now building up very strongly. We have a very significant market share in single cab, approximately 9%. Overall, we have a market share of 4% in that segment, which is where we are growing. And in fact, the other point that I would like to bring in, our assembly plant in Durban is for the pickups, which we are doing, which we sell over here. And we remain the fastest growing in buggy brand for almost 30 months, starting from 2018 till very recent. Because of some supply issues, we lost that unique positioning. But still, we are the 3rd best performing OEM in buggy segment. So that there is one difference in that side. There is another line of product that we are selling here. We call as World of SUV. And why we call it World of SUV is that we are uniquely placed as an OEM, and we are only into SUV, as you know about that. We don't make cars. We have range of cars. We have 6 SUVs that we make. starting from a price point of around 150,000 and going up to another 470,000. So all those cars and SUVs that I'm talking about are coming from portfolio in India. They are very similar to that we sell in India. It's a right-hand market, which is another benefit. So in a way, whatever we are making for India with minor modification that is needed for this country in terms of homologation, we are selling here. And the future pipeline will have a lot of influence of products coming from domestic market. Yeah, but for certain segments, we will always have certain products that may be very different from India.
Wow, exciting. So moving on to something that pertains specifically to South Africa. We know Mahindra has been very active in CSR, especially in SA. And knowing how hands-on you are, what are your planned CSR activities for SA, especially in this post-pandemic 2021, if we could call it a post-pandemic just yet?
I think when we say a CSR, in actual definition, it is the responsibility of corporates towards the society around. And if we just stay with that word, the responsibility word, which a corporate should carry, and when we relate ourselves in South Africa, there are two areas that comes in very, very clearly in front of us. First is education, and second is skill enhancement. I think if we remain extremely focused on those two areas, I think we'll be contributing most for the development, overall development of the society around. We have been committed to that in past. Even post-COVID period, we have come out in a very significant manner. The entire team of Mahindra South Africa has contributed significantly on these purposes. But we have recently made some changes in our role. We are seeing a lot of rigor which in certain sections of society. We have come across in coordination with multiple NGOs here in this country, and we have contributed in terms of upliftment of certain societies and sections. But going forward, we will again start concentrating heavily on the education and skill enhancement. And I think if we continue doing that, I think we'll be playing the better role for this country.
For sure. At your current growth trajectory, and wow, that's quite a graph there, many expect that Mahindra will become one of the top 10 selling brands in SA in the very near future. What are your thoughts on this, especially in terms of any particular brand positioning strategies that you're going for?
I would like to answer this question in two different manners. What you achieve as ranking or what you achieve as a cumulative output of your efforts is one part, which is external. But what goes into it is what matters. What I'm trying to put across is that while we are very keen to be a more prominent brand in this country, and we are in the process of becoming, I think we are not getting really worried about the ranking per se. What we are really keen about is building the equity of the brand, or the aspirational value behind the brand, or the connect of the brand with the local people. And which is in automotive trade very, very specific, that you are not only in the process of selling product, you are in process of offering a delightful customer experience. You have to give an holistic experience to the customer. And that requires a very, very refined approach, not only at your end, but also with your extended channel partners. So we have got around 67 channel partners or dealers across South Africa and SADC country. Bringing in a homogeneous customer experience, investing into the value proposition of the brand, staying consistent to your commitment when you do any product launches over here, maintaining your equity at a marketplace in such a way that you're being seen as an ethical, genuine, honest brand are the critical things. I think the success will stay from the fact that how much and to what extent we succeeded in building that equity as a company, as a brand, as a network partner, and every single person who wear Mahindra on their sleeves when they connect with the customer. So I think this is where what I would be more interested in. Numbers automatically will happen. We are not worried about the number part per se. So we are not getting too carried away with achieving number in an inorganic way. The organic part of the growth is more critical.
You know, this pride wearing Mahindra on your sleeve, like you said, that is very typical that I find of Indian brands. You really want to go all out and give it to the customer that yes, you're owning us. I love that. I personally love that.
Yeah, we Indians believe in long-term partnership.
Yes. Okay, as a good interviewer, I did a little digging into you, sir. And we found out that you have a marketing background. So, of course, we can't let you go without this key question. How has Mahindra taken on existing players in terms of marketing?
Um, yeah, this is something which is critical when we connect and when we position the brand. You have to actually acquire a positioning in the minds of customer, and every brand has got their own space to operate. They have uh, they have acquired the space of being whatever they are in the mindset of the customer over years. It's a consistent process they've been doing. What we see a very clear space for us that we have to be seen as a brand which offers the best value for your money. And it is not about being cheap. It is about being the brand which offers every single penny payout what you invest on the brand. So you have to be very, very truthful to the value that you offer to the customer. The other part which stays very, very critical for us to prove every single time, and we are happy to bring in this angle, that they should see you as a reliable, capable brand doing what they're supposed to do. And at the same time, it should offer them a life which is like live young, live free. They should be able to enjoy with their families. They should be able to enjoy every single drive they have on the vehicle. They can trust the vehicle that you're offering to them. So if you can offer them this unique positioning of somebody who is reliable, capable, but yet affordable and always ready for or up for a challenge, I think this is what we would like to build upon. I think this is where we have a space to acquire.
I must say, sir, I'm absolutely loving this interview. I'm all out of social media. You've already given me two beautiful images. I'm going to tweet you and tag you. So here's the last technical question before we move on to the fun stuff. Though Mahindra is best known for its SUVs and pickup trucks here in South Africa, Mahindra is actually a huge conglomerate back home in India with several product verticals. What other Mahindra products or product ranges do you offer here in South Africa or plan to offer here in South Africa?
Yeah, this is an interesting point. So we started with our business in automotive side, but in last 3 years we have introduced other businesses too through our established business partner. I would like to speak about the business which is under brand name Powerol, where we make generators. We have some very strong channel partners who are helping us establishing that piece of business. In India, we have a very strong say in genset business, specifically in the telecom segment, and that's what we are going to aspire for, acquiring that space here. The third business that we have recently started with one of our esteemed partner, ETG, who is owning a fertilizer brand known as Kynoch in this country. They are our distributor for farm business, and they are selling tractors and farm implements. We have recently started business with them, and we are going to invest and focus heavily on that side. Not in terms of money as you see as an investment, this is the investment of the vision, investment of the direction, investment of the processes, so that we start building that connect with the farming as a community. And it's taking shape. The fourth business is the business of construction or yellow metal, as we call this here, construction equipment. We do TLBs or backhoes here. We have another distributor here who is known as PLC. They do our yellow metal over here. We will be incrementally going to grow that volume as well. But we are keenly seeing other opportunities that may come in. Tech Mahindra, which is our IT setup, they also have a simultaneous setup which is being managed separately. So in a way, we have 5 businesses. If I just call it Tech Mahindra as our sister concern, who is addressing another part of the business. But we, in future, will also try and see what best we can do in any other part of the business, including solar or what I must say is hospitality or something. So I think these are things which will come to any kind of fructification as the business case supports. But we are keenly seeing those spaces.
Wow, very interesting and very, very diverse. From one end of the spectrum to the other. To some less serious stuff. We'd like to know more about you and your working style now. Are you ready for this?
Yes, Ali, I'm 100% ready for that.
Perfect. So
Always up for a challenge.
great. So our mental vision of a C-level exec is that they're always swamped with work, they have no set working hours, and they always have to be available. Well, that's what we perceive at least. And that's the standard perception almost everywhere for us mere mortals. So how do you, as the super busy CEO, manage a healthy work-life balance? And do you work insane hours like we think you do?
Yeah, this is something which my wife also checks on me. That are you physically and mentally both present when you are in home? It's a process which you have to learn. In fact, yesterday only I had a discussion with one of my colleagues who was kind of looking stressed out to me. And when I checked on him, he said that yeah, there are multiple stress. There are stress which are increasing on a daily basis. Post-COVID business is becoming difficult. Let me just share one of the thumb rule that I follow. The thumb rule is that as you see that stress levels are higher, it means that situation is demanding a more capable brain of yours, more capable body of yours, and a more balanced approach towards resolving those issues. So my way of handling these situation is that you first have to understand stress is a result of your inability to handle it correctly. Otherwise, there is no stress, which means you have to actually grow up to that situation and be smart enough to handle it correctly. So that's the first thing, because if you are in stress, you will never be able to give the right direction to anyone. And you have to be stress-free, which means you have to keep a very healthy body. You have to practice it very correctly. You have to do meditation, yoga, a lot of breathing exercise. Enjoy the moments that comes to you as a quality investments along with your kids and family, giving them the proper time. Unwire yourself. Understand when the stress levels are increasing, you need to break free, unwire yourself at that situation. So it is something which you have to keep on practicing. There is no single formula that applies to anyone. It works for me. I really make it very simple for myself by living in the moment rather than living for the moments which are yet to come.
Interesting. So, sir, do you practice yoga? Do you go running and keep yourself fit in that way?
Yes, I do yoga. So there are a couple of patterns that I follow. The first thing that I invest is in the breathing exercise, which is pranayama, which I have learned from my grandfather. That's very, very important. Then I do some more, exercise which are around focusing, relaxing, and rejuvenating your brain waves on a morning basis. And in South Africa, if you are not enjoying your mornings, you're missing the big part of your life. Those moments are the precious moment, and I really enjoy that time of mine. I give at least half an hour on a daily basis focusing on that part.
That's amazing. Now, the next question is related to this one. As someone who has literally grown up in this industry, you've basically just about seen it all, right? The ups and downs. So, what practical advice would you give to young millennials?
Okay. So I think, Sayali, this is something which is kind of critical. While there are multiple opportunities available for millennials, I have seen a situation where they get easily distracted and digress from what they're doing because there are multiple opportunities. There are a couple of things that I can speak about how and what they should see if they really want to succeed in what they're doing. And this they're coming just from my experience. The first thing which I would say is that developing a domain expertise, which is very critical. And that can only come when they start focusing on certain aspects and building a more deeper learning curve in that or more deeper understanding of that. World is moving towards specialization and fast moving towards this specialization. and the world is needing domain expert. So it's important for millennials to start understanding this aspect. Experimentation is good. One should do experiment, but at one point in time, you have to give it a kind of a stop, and then you have to start, focusing on certain aspects. That's one. The second thing is stability. Building stability, not in terms of staying in a company. I don't want to advise that one should stay in one company and keep on building the career. That's not my advice. My advice is stability towards seeing career as one serious thing, as we worship God or as we try and do anything very religiously. So stability, according to me, is the second aspect. And the third thing is about, being kind of, flexible enough with the changing requirement of the world. And we all know we are in a very vulnerable, volatile world, but things are changing very fast. The third thing which I would like to suggest is flexibility. So if I have to just summarize them, of course, yes, the first thing is about domain expertise. Second thing is about stability, and third thing is about flexibility.
I love that advice on domain authority, sir, because for many millennials, including myself, we dabble in far too many things. And I'm going to take your advice moving forward. So, since far too many millennials are burning out due to overwork, the grind of hard work, but not smart work, that kind of thing. What professional advice would you give to such millennials who are struggling with their work health or work life balance?
In this situation, Sayali, this is something which is evident in cases that people are kind of, overexerting in themselves. I think this is coming because of the aspiration to achieve too soon. So don't be in a hurry. You should put yourself a little more comfortable from the growth that you are achieving. I think you will be more, comfortable. I think everybody is trying to become Elon Musk or, Mark Zuckerberg or whatever too soon. Not for everyone, this success will come so very quickly. So we'll have to just appreciate the fact that, everyone is unique. We should not get into too much of a peer pressure or pressure which we call as a competitive, pressure. The idea should be that whatever you are doing, you should enjoy doing that, but at the same time, you should understand that this is something which you have to do with a lot of religion into it, a lot of spiritualism into it, and a lot of dedication into it, rather than getting influence for those things which are good to get motivated, but not to get obsessed with.
That's such good advice, sir, but it's harder to follow. Every one of us want to be those 26-year-old millionaires. So today, as many entrepreneurs and business owners from India look to set up shop in SA, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give them when they come here for success, to set them up for success?
The most important advice for anybody who wants to invest in South Africa, the first thing is that come with a very clear commitment for the country. Come with a commitment to have a long stay or a long haul, operation in this country. The third thing is that don't come with those learnings which you have from your previous, organization. This country is unique. And this country has their own set of requirements. They are in certain kind of, need juncture. So you have to start, believing in the fact that if you have to succeed, you have to go very steady, and I would say slow and steady. Don't try to do things too fast. It's a costly country for that matter. Understand the environment and start building your business model around what this country is all about or your customer is all about. All aspects in this country, including the service industry, is highly evolved. It's nothing less than what we see in Europe or any developed country for that matter, which means your service standards has to be of the top class. You cannot be in a situation where you are running a business and you are not offering the most refined service parameters. You have to be genuine. And you have to believe in the fact that you will only succeed if you consistently keep on delivering on those commitments. If you can do that, and I think many businesses can find a lot of success in this country.
Wow. Thank you for that advice. So we are almost near the end, sir. We have our last three questions, which are completely about you. So allow me to put you on a spot right here. Do you, Mr. Rajesh, own a Mahindra? And if you do, which one?
Sally, I'm owning Mahindra since the day I have joined Mahindra. I joined in 2010. Since then, I'm owning XUV 500. And this is my fourth XUV 500. I enjoy that vehicle because that vehicle is a perfect vehicle for my family. It's a 7-seater. It offers wonderful space. I can carry all these sports and stuff which my kids do want to have. It offers a wonderful, safety parameter on the road and the right kind of drivability. So I enjoy that as a part of my family. And now I am kind of, uh, you know, incomplete if I don't have, that in my garage.
Not fair. I wanted to put you on a spot, but you already own one. And the best part is you have sold me on it now. I have a big family and a dog, so I think that's perfect for me. I'll look into it today. So South Africa has several world-class tourist destinations. It's also especially great to drive around. Have you been around sightseeing? Where have you had the most fun at? And have any of those trips been road trips?
In a way, what you're saying is very true that, and it's very difficult to answer in that way. See, South Africa offers a combination of multiple experience. You can have a varied level of experience, which normally is not possible in a country in itself. So you can enjoy the Kruger Park and the Blade River and waterfalls around that, which is one wonderful portion because you feel completely out of the world when you visit those n number of waterfalls on the route. That's one which I enjoyed a lot. At the same time, if you go towards garden route and if you start exploring garden route and you start, touching those, so-called virgin territories, you really admire that, what God could do if they start, being very lenient in terms of offering, the beauty quotient to any place. So they are wonderful places on the garden route. The other thing which I have enjoyed a lot is staying in Karoo. The tranquility and the peace is amazing. If you stay on a full moon night in a Karoo, where nothing can be heard and only few, strange noises, it is like, mesmerizing, mind-blowing, I don't know what all to say. And you keep on traveling in whichever part of South Africa. There are some very amazing things that you can put across. I love photography. And whenever I share those pictures on social media, people always, get jealous of me that, you are staying in one of the most beautiful places. And I do say that this is one of the best privilege or perk that one can have when staying in South Africa. You can't really decide which is better than one is better than another. They all are unique. They all are marvelous.
Now I want to go to the Karoo in a SUV, in an XUV. Anyway, and finally, the last question. What has been your best experience in South Africa so far? Of course, other than Karoo, since you've already mentioned it. And one experience that will remain with you forever.
The one experience, if I have to rate among all the experiences, we have stayed in Buffalo's Bay a year and a half back, and it was a beach house facing directly the ocean. And one fine morning when we got up, we saw a lot of whales, near the coastal area. And the way they were enjoying morning hours, the way they were, kind of playing around, it is kind of, ingrained in my mind forever because the totality of the entire thing, the calm and peaceful sea, a blue sea, with a very, very, relaxed ambience around and those, creatures having best of their time is such a wonderful experience that word probably will fail to put it across. So I will always cherish those interaction with Mother Nature.
Sir, you gave me goosebumps. Serious goosebumps. It was amazing. So we are at the end of my questions. Piyush, do you have any questions to ask him and put him on a spot?
Not really. I think he is very much into it, in and out from these kind of questions, and he can predict what we can even think of with his experience and expertise. Sir, two things. You have not touched upon Thar, which is like my favorite Mahindra vehicle. And ever since I have seen it first time in Pune during Pro Kabaddi League when I was working with Pune's team, and that's when I met Mr. Mahindra there personally. So I was in awe with that vehicle. So what's I don't see that vehicle much on roads, and South Africa offers quite a lot of opportunities for a 4x4 vehicle, and this is a very good price, well priced vehicle. So how do you see this vehicle flying in the market?
Thankfully, you brought in this point. In fact, I do agree that I missed quoting Thar, and without Thar, Mahindra cannot be completed in automotive space per se. Thar reflects the core DNA of Mahindra. That's what we stand for. That's what we really are here to offer as an experience to the customer. Though all our products are unique for that matter, but Thar is definitely something which gives you the right kind of experience if somebody is looking for a true off-roader, true 4x4. We have introduced Thar quite late in this country. I think we introduced somewhere in 2015 only. And we have sold a lot of Thars over here. They are not seen normally on road because they are always in bush. So that could be the reason, and that could be a nice excuse for me as well. Yeah, we have sold. But Piyush, the most important thing, and which is what you should know now, keep your finger crossed on, all new Thar which is being launched in India should be in South Africa very soon. We are preparing big time for the launch of all new Thar. It's already getting tested in this market. It's running various roads and various kilometers in South Africa. And I must say that the launch of Thar that we are aspiring for will be one which will be redefining what Mahindra will be in this country. So we are putting a lot of efforts and focus to see that we bring in that product in the most desirable manner. And Piyush, I really assure you that if you really want to be, I can really offer you the very first few vehicles that we'll be bringing in this country. If you're not interested in buying, of course, yes, you will definitely get the first test drive.
That would be a privilege, if at all I have to own a Thar. I would certainly love to do that. Let's say, what if it is priced well in my range and budget? I'm sure if that is the case, I would certainly be buying that one for sure. Probably first few. And second question I have about lots of e-vehicles. Mahindra has very strong product E2O, which runs really well in market. I understand South African market doesn't need an electric vehicle, but I'd see the future is getting into that range, and probably some cities like Cape Town and Joburg, where the density is high, could be very useful, and it could be a flagship brand for Mahindra in the urban areas.
Piyush, electric vehicle is future. No denial about this statement that if you are not planning around electric vehicles, whether you are in South Africa or you are in some other parts of the world, the journey is incomplete. Mahindra in India is investing and trying to do a lot on the electric vehicle side, and simultaneously so, we at South Africa also are keenly watching that space. We have some plans, and we are just trying to get to that situation where we have a very rightful product for this country, and which is very soon on the cards. Once we have that, we will definitely introduce. We'll play our very desirable, approach towards that part of business, which is the future of industry. So be rest assured, we will not be missing the bus.
that's like an Indian brand. We have to be on top of it now. All these things. So thank you so much for your time, sir, and that will be all from my side. I'm looking forward whenever you are visiting Durban Trade Port next time. I'm looking forward to seeing you, sir.
Very much, Piyush. I think this is something which we could not do for various reasons. I don't know how do I justify those reasons, but come what may, whenever I am going to be in Durban, I will be with you and your team for sure. It will be privilege at my end, and I would like to invite you. You've been to our plant also, if I'm not wrong. So we will try to create some opportunity to have some celebration with our staff at plant in some way, so that we can honor them and also feel good about being with them.
So we'd like to thank you for your time and gracious answers, Mr. Rajesh. It was such a pleasure to have you with us today, and hope you had an equally good time with us.
Clearly, it is an equally or much more exciting time that I had with both of you, Piyush and you. Not many occasions that we come across where we can connect and speak about what we will be representing as a brand India and as brand Mahindra coming from India. So putting across those views in a very open manner, in such a clear manner, is a delight and a privilege. Thank you, both of you.
Best wishes, sir. We hope Mahindra continues to grow.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you, sir. And it was such a mesmerizing and encouraging discussions. A piece of advice. It was, as an entrepreneur, I look forward for his advice. Captains of the industry. So thank you so much for your time and
thank you. Bye.
Thank you. And with this, we wrap up our second episode of Pursuit of Excellence. Along with our esteemed guests who take their time to chat with us, I'd like to thank the Consul General of India in Durban, Honorable Shri Anish Rajan, who made this series possible for us. And of course, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today. Thank you all, and see you again with another new guest soon. Bye and namaste.